Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they that know him not see his days? Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away the floods, and feed thereof. They drive away the ass of the fatherless, they take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way, the poor of the earth hides themselves together. Behold, as wild asses in the desert, they go forth to their work. Rising betimes for a prey, the wilderness yields food for them and their children. They reap every one his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for want of a shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast, and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheep from the hungry, which makes oil within their walls, and treads their wine presses, and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded cries out. Yet Jah lays not folly to them. They are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer rising with the light kills the poor and needy, and the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me, and disguises his face. In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one knows them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Rastafari, giving thanks. Strength to buy. Beautiful day. Speaking about the group ISIS, you know, Babylon wants to go back now. They want to call the group Daesh. Even the BBC is coming back. They're starting to call them ISIS again. Well, Lieutenant General James Terry, commander of the U.S. war efforts in Iraq and Syria, explained Thursday that our partners, at least the ones that work with us, asked us to use Daesh. So I guess the Lieutenant General, Colonel of the United States Army is taking orders from other people, partners. They don't have the workforce. It's clogging up their resources. You know, the women in Islam, they can't go work for some corporation. The World Order thing is sucking in every culture and attempting to eradicate it from the earth. Turn humans into commodities, give us the chip. And Paul actually got up and said the U.S. intelligence was behind ISIS. One thing that we've explained that I don't think people have caught on is that even though the U.S. intelligence is and was behind ISIS, ISIS didn't follow their objective. ISIS got into some quarrels with the groups that were present and began to battle with them. And indirectly, ISIS has only sided with Syria, although the president of Syria hasn't sided with ISIS. He knows that if he lets this group continue to ravage the land, it's only good publicity for him, because obviously, as the U.S. is trying to paint him out to be some kind of tyrannical war freak, you know, the reality is that he was defending himself and his country that his father ruled, and he didn't have a choice. You know, if he just decided, you know, let's go after ISIS right away, he might have not had that force to counter the other force, and then he might have went down. So it was at a necessity that he let ISIS continue to grow. So there's still hundreds of fighters that are entering this caliphate from around the world every day. They say the ISIS fighters are sleeping in barracks formed from the shells of bombed out houses. So is the most wealthiest terrorist group ever to exist, right? They cleaned out the banks. They're running all the oil facilities. They got all these operators. They got all the people work for them. They're collecting money from kidnappings, from tolls, from penalties, and what have you. But yet, their people are sleeping out in the shells of bombed out house. This hype about ISIS having all this wealth is not actually the reality. Say somebody robs the central bank in the United States of America, cleans them out, because I mean, it's not like the Iraqi banks had a lot of cash sitting around at that time. So let's say they rob the central bank and clean them out. You know, they've got billions and billions of dollars. Do you really think that they're going to be able to go around and spend it? It's going to lose a lot of value. So the fact that they just go in and take a bunch of money from the bank is hard to believe. If people don't want Obamacare, I guess they can go join ISIS. And that's another indication that Western intelligence is probably behind it, because again, they want to kind of paint this perception or this illusion that, you know, this is what it's all about. This is what the Islamic Caliphate's about. It's about killing, murder, and also education for girls. Are they raping the girls and kidnapping them and then educating them on one hand? I don't think so. There's two different factions operating here. That's more than just two. It's the way to form this kind of cultural perception. Most concerning of all, ISIS fighters believe that all religions who agree with democracy have to die. Democracy! They're not going to use the word democracy. It's not democracy. It's the common law shitstem. Were we taught about democracy? Or were we taught about religious law, civil law, and common law? What does that mean? It's like saying conservative. We're going to have a conservative system of laws. Oh yeah? Propaganda campaign put together by the West.